is Mr. Rob, and here we are with unit conversions video. So unit conversions is part of what we do in physics class is going to involve solving problems. And although many before you have solved these very same problems, sorry, we will, however, need to build some skills so that when we leave school and move on to college, we have the ability to solve different kinds of problems. It's all about the problems. Here we go. Unfortunately, not all the time will our problems include the correct units. So we may be required to use different units. And there are problems where we will be able to correct or convert our what's given, or we will be able to convert the final answer into the units that we need them to be. Now, the SI unit system makes it far less difficult than the English system. And I use far less rather than saying much easier because remember, everything is relative. For instance, suppose that I have a number of cubic inches and I need to know how many cubic inches are in a pint. Volume and volume, but I don't know what that conversion is. Or suppose I have a number of square yards that I have to convert into acres. I have no idea what these are. Now, the SI units make this a little easier, but it's going to require that we channel our mad algebra skills. Here we go. Follow me, and this is going to be sort of an algebra logic session, but it builds up to how we do conversions. So here we go. 4 meters equals 4 meters. This statement is true. What I have written is a mathematical equation. And with an equation, because of this equal sign, we know that whatever's on this side of our equation has to be equal to whatever's on this side. They are equivalent. 4 meters is equal to 4 meters. No real mad algebra skills yet, but we're getting there. My next step might be to do this. If I multiply 4 meters by 1, I still have 4 meters because any value that's multiplied by 1 is still the same value, one of those math properties. Also, if I alter the 1 but still maintain the equivalent, then I will not have changed my original equation. I could say this might be this. 4 meters times 2 divided by 2 is still equal to 4 meters because this is equivalent to 1. And we know that any number times 1 is still the same number. I have not changed my 4 meter base value. All I've done is multiply it by 1. And I still, as this equation shows, still have what I started with. Okay, let's remember back to prefixes in the previous video. We said that the prefix centi meant 10 to the minus 2. We could say these are equivalent. The prefix centi is the same or is equal to 10 to the minus 2. So in the case of a centimeter, that's 10 to the minus 2 meters. Centi, 10 to the minus 2. So a centimeter is 10 to the minus 2 meters. That's logic. If it's a prefix and I put it in front of something, I have to take that value and put it in front of the same something on both sides of the equation so it's equivalent. All right. Now, here's a step. I'm going to divide both sides by 10 to the minus 2 meters. What do I have on the right-hand side? If I take a value, an algebraic quantity, and I divide it by the same algebraic quantity, what do I have? That's right, the number 1. This is equal to 1, which means that a centimeter divided by 10 to the minus 2 meters is also equal to 1. this value is equal to 1. All right? So if I'm looking for a fraction that's equivalent to 1, that doesn't change my original value, only changes the units, it looks like I can do some little bit of math magic here. Here we go. Suppose that 4 meters in my problem needs to be converted to centimeters. Well, I can use this idea to do exactly that with my prefix value. I will from now on call this, excuse me, my conversion factor. Remember, at any time, if you're confused or you want to listen to it again, simply hit pause, go back, do it again. All right, so I want to know how many centimeters are in 4 meters. I need the equivalent value of centimeters for 4 meters. And I know that if I multiply 4 meters by 1, I'm going to get the same value. I will not have changed my value. I can do this sort of thing with a conversion factor, not affect the value, only the units. Here we go. If I take 4 meters over 1, because that way my equation with fractions looks okay. It's a formatting thing, and will be explained when we get to the part with multiple units in my value in the next video. So I have 4 meters. I have, if I know, excuse me, I know if I multiply it by 1, I won't change the value, only the units. Here's my conversion factor. 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 to the minus 2 meters, which means this is equal to 1. And that's going to give me some value, and it will be in centimeters. How do I know it's in centimeters? Well, let's see. Meters times centimeters divided by meters. We remember from algebra, remember we're still channeling our algebra, that when I'm doing fractions, if I have something in the top multiplied or divided by something else in my fraction, and it appears in both the top and the bottom, or numerator and denominator to use official language, numerator and denominator both have meters, they cancel out. These are just like this. They're equal to 1. So what I'm left with is 4 times 1, or 4, centimeters divided by 10 to the minus 2. That's an improper fraction. We can simplify that a bit because we remember that 1 over 10 to the minus 2 is the same as 10 to the positive 2. 1 over a negative exponent is equivalent or equal to that value raised to the positive exponent. So instead of 4 over 10 to the minus 2 centimeters, I have 4 times 10 to the positive 2 centimeters. And that is equal to 4 meters. That's how the system works. Now, I've taught this years before, and I've left this part out, but it seems to me that without going into too much detail and not going through each one of the proofs, we're going to use the proofs that say things like multiplying by 1 still has the same value. Dividing a number by itself gives you the number 1. And then plug those into substitution. I can substitute this in for the number 1 and use it in my conversion factor to just change the units from one to another without actually altering the original value. So there we have it. 4 meters equals 4 times 10 to the second centimeters. Okay, the next video, I'll take a look at an example with different multiple units that has to be converted, and I will see you then.